Welcome back to the Driven to Succeed Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Olson. Today I have a guest from the Right Thing team at Bridge Realty, Trib Balbhadr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brandon. Pleasure being here.
Yes, I've been excited. You've been very enthusiastic since I started working with you last year, like how you've been able to treat your clients and do so well. And, one of the first questions I'd like to ask people when I first meet them, which I'm going to ask you now, is like, from a real estate perspective, what was your journey to getting into real estate? What prompted you to jump into being in real estate?
Good question. I think one of the biggest thing was investing in real estate, right? And I had minimal knowledge prior to becoming a realtor. So um, I did everything, or I did what everyone would do, go on YouTube and start, hey, buying real estate or flipping houses, house hack, all of that. And I realized getting my real estate license was going to be a really beneficial asset to me, and jumped right into it just maybe within 2 days of convincing myself, and went to Kaplan University. And 6 months later, after getting my license, I bought my first house. And like I said, it was scary, nervous, exciting,
Because
so much fun.
you represented yourself
That
on that
yes,
transaction,
yeah.
right? Your first transaction
Yep.
is to yourself.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So you're a little bit nerve-wracked on that.
Yeah, and then it's like, who do I call? Do I call my agent?
Right. What do I do?
So it was very nerve-wracking. However, that right there was the foundation of my career, right? Having all those emotions to really know what my clients are going to go through now, is the unknowns and what my duties consist of.
Well, what better way to do that besides experience your first home purchase
You know,
and be the agent behind it,
you know,
understand the whole process start to finish the first time around? Yeah, that's a great foundation. And you said this is what, 6 years ago?
coming up on 6 years ago,
Okay,
yes.
coming up on six
Yeah,
years. Wow. I mean, good for you,
I
man.
appreciate it. Thank you. And then the
So,
next scary thing was, after a year after that, I bought a foreclosure and I started working on that
sure,
too.
sure.
So it's just been a journey, and it's if I can do one, two, it's just
Yep.
a matter of three, four, five, and keep
Right.
going. So
Did you sell that other one or did you flip
no,
it?
it's
You got a rental on it.
rental
Yep.
right now, and
Nice.
the plan is to hopefully rent out my current property and
Then
buy
buy
my
the
third.
next.
Yep,
Yeah.
like we
Awesome.
chatted
Yes.
about. Yep,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you're gonna be the one on.
I hope so. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So what's your background growing up? If I
I
can
guess,
ask, if you don't mind.
yeah. Quickly, I'll cut it. I was born in Guyana, South America,
Yep.
and moved here when I was about 10, 11 years old. And then I don't know why, Minnesota, Lakeville.
Yeah.
Out of Guyana, South America, we
Sure.
come to Lakeville. But we have a core group of family here, consists of my dad's side and my mom's side too. Um, but truly, just my whole journey throughout where I was born, from a third world country
Hmm.
to really coming here, has just been a blessing. Because in Guyana, it's like you have limitations. And in the US, and especially Minnesota, it's like your mind is your limit, right?
Right.
Rich dad, poor dad.
Right.
You've heard of it just teaches you to think different. And
Right.
that was another, I guess, foundation of my life as well, that book. And I hate reading. That book and this book,
Yeah.
it's truly been it's just an eye opener as well. But yeah, after moving here, high school, I joined the army for 8 years. Blessing to be part of that journey as well. And then now I decided real estate is my basketball, as Kobe would say. It's my passion.
Right.
It's you can't take this away from me no more.
Well, and that's great because, well, the what I talked about earlier was your enthusiasm, right? And like how you treat people, and that kind of leads me into that next step is you want to create, what you told me is you want to create clients for life. I mean, a lot of people say that.
Yep.
That's what they say, right? But truly going through that process is the first step is number one, becoming friends with your clients, right?
Right.
So how do you envision that? Like what's your process like with your clients?
I can't give you all my secrets, but
Right. I mean, exactly. But
no,
just to give the clients or the our listeners out there, what you like to do, not
yeah.
necessarily, but
I think one of my biggest thing is communication. Right? Communication is key, and that was drilled in me in the army. right? It's you miss one little info, something big could happen, right? So if a potential client, a lead, a current client, whatever it is, whoever texts me, I stay. My phone is right there, as you can
Right.
see, right?
Right.
I'm respectable of what we have right now. However, I try to be there for my clients within an hour. If
Right.
somebody texts me, call me, email me, it's 1 hour. I don't have the answer. Hey, I'm gonna find out. I'll get back to you. But it's you're buying the biggest purchase of your life, right? And I hate when I call an agent and especially tomorrow you're going to give me an answer. How does that look to me for my clients,
Right.
right? But it's just having that wanting to really get to know your clients. My wife and I, we just had tea. We were invited from a past client to have tea with her and her husband, and their newborn, and that was on Saturday last week. They invite us to have tea, and
Right.
those
Right.
are, right. So it's and another client. I mean, it's when you're done closing the deal or their purchase. What's next?
Right.
Right? Do you block them? Do you delete them? For me, it's a process. I have my database, and it's a streamlined consistency of keeping up with my client. You bought a car, great. You boat, whatever it is, like I'm there for them. I'm not just, hey, deal done, on
Right.
to the next.
It's not just a transaction for
No,
you, right?
no,
It's more than that, and that's what this industry has to
hundred
be,
percent.
right? And the best people in this industry now, and are the ones that don't make it transactional. That
Yep,
makes it very, there's so much stress that goes
yep,
into buying a home, right?
right,
Fear,
yep,
stress. If this is going to happen, that I'll tell the example of one of my clients. Um, it's 24-day closing date.
okay,
So it's like here we need, here's the timeline. Here's the things
right,
we wanted to win, and right away it's like, what's my cash to close? Well, as a lender, it's one of the hardest things to tell people right off the bat is
sure,
like, hey, we don't have your exact cash to close, and here's why. I mean, we don't know what your escrows are going to be. We
right,
don't know what the closing with the title company costs are exactly are. You got to get homeowners insurance. There's a number of different things that we have to get reconciled before we can do
right,
that, right? So I'm trying to prompt this, and here's what we are, right? So at the same time, I have a conversation. Hey, we need to get homeowners insurance as soon as possible, so that way we can move it to the next stage. We don't want to miss a closing date. Well, so I said that. Well, all that client heard was, we're going to miss a closing date.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to her
Of
dad,
course.
right? And I and I talked to her dad. Her dad calls me on Saturday. It's like, hey, she's worried we're going to miss the closing date. I'm like, we're not going to miss the closing date. If we don't get these things done in a
Right.
timely fashion, we could potentially miss a closing date. And that's what I said. All she heard was, we're
Right.
going to miss the closing date.
It's,
Long story short, we're fine. It didn't. Nothing was. There was no. It was didn't even have to be a sense of urgency, but it
good.
was to a degree, because it was like, here's the timeline and so forth.
Right.
But clients hear different things, and you're
Mhm.
trying to, one of the things that you guys. Is when I say you guys, when real estate agents, realtors, you're with the clients a lot more,
Right.
right? Because you're meeting them at the house,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Maybe you're both there for an inspection, right?
Yep.
You're going and looking at multiple different time, so you got way more face time with people than the lender does, right?
Right.
So it's harder for us to build that relationship, even though, hey, I'm going to call you, be updating you every week and doing
Sure.
this, and it's just, there is a difference on it. So I really respect where I'm going with this. I really respect like your enthusiasm in creating this people for life, and being invited to that tea party,
Yeah.
right? Their tea out for tea, right?
Yeah.
Is awesome. It's I just got invited to a baby shower, and not Corey. Yours, I
Yeah.
got that yesterday. Just by the way, Corey's our sound video guy. So Corey's having a baby soon.
Woo.
Congrats. But those kind of things mean a lot,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So because it knows you're going be above and beyond. So that's where, like, your enthusiasm, your professionalism, um, just the way you speak and so forth. I've been very impressed. So
You're making me
I
blush
you
here,
gotta
man.
you gotta you gotta you gotta I believe you have a very good, career path going forward.
I
So
appreciate it.
um speaking of that, so what questions, and this is going to be a common question that a lot of people get right now.
Okay.
It's is this a good time to buy a home?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That question. And the answer is yes, right now. No,
100%.
I'm kidding. But it comes down to if your realtor is telling you now is the best time to buy a house, you probably need a different realtor, right? That's my perspective. And my answer to that question, the best time to buy a house is truly when you can afford it, right? We know, you and I both know being in the industry, real estate is up and down. And 5 years from now, I think you're gonna come up based on what I mean, we're not going to talk about, a crash or whatever, but
Right.
just based off of stocks and everything, it's a 5 to 8% appreciation year to year. So if you really look at the long end of it, it's a smart investment, right? So if you can afford it now, don't look at the now picture. Oh gosh, we're at an 8%. What happens if rate goes to 16%?
Right.
Everybody's gonna stop buying.
Right.
If you can afford it, then maybe it's the right time for you to buy. And it's
Correct.
simple. And that goes to just having a simple conversation. You don't try to convince somebody to buy one of the biggest thing in their lifetime, right? And if you're selling in real estate, one thing in my journey is that I realize if I don't sell anything. And a realtor, I think you do have sales numbers to hit, right?
Mhm.
But I don't sell anything. Goes back to sell me this pen, right? I don't need a pen if I need a pencil. Why are you selling me a pen,
Right. Right.
right? So it's truly just understanding your clients, taking the time to listen and advocate, educate, and guide, especially a first time buyer,
Correct.
right?
No, I love that analogy because I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I came from the car industry
Okay.
where it was sales.
Right.
I mean, it's truly sales. Like
Yep.
you got to upsell this, got to upsell that.
Yep.
True sales, right? Whereas I always consider this job as I'm assisting you to buy a house,
Right.
right? It's not sales to me.
Yeah.
So it even though it is, even though it's
Right.
completely sales,
Yep.
it's just not in that aspect because I'm here to guide you, like
Correct.
you,
Yep.
on buying the right house or like me, getting the right terms and financing for you,
Yep.
right? It's my job right now to find the best terms and financing for
Right.
people, right? I don't get paid any different anyway, so I can't add any additional points to your spread so I
Right.
can get paid more. That doesn't work like that. So to that is the best question. Like if you can afford it,
Yeah.
I mean, this is if this is the time, and you can afford it. We look back over the history of what is it, 60, 70 years. There's been what 3 points where house prices decreased year over year,
Sure.
right? 3 times.
3 times.
And the rest of that has gone up. And now what first time home buyers are looking at 350, 400, depending on
Yeah.
what market you're at
Right.
for a purchase price, right?
Yep.
And that's not a small number. That's not a small payment.
No.
But I just talked to a lady this morning, and she's the first time home buyer, and her rent is $2,800 a month, right? She's like, why am I paying $2,800 a month for rent when I can
Right.
own a house, right?
Pay your own mortgage, not
Pay your
someone
own
else.
mortgage,
Right.
right? So that is perfect. Now, I know you said earlier, you've made a commitment as far as like social media, and I have seen that you've been more active on
Hmm.
social media and so forth. Do you have any set goals? And I'm throwing you on the spot,
Sure.
like this year for, what, opportunities we've talked about, maybe, sitting down once a month and looking at, some different opportunities to help with social media, right?
Yeah, and goes back to this is our first podcast,
Right,
right? And
right.
and if we see the value in it, which we will,
Hmm.
right? It's how can we go long term with it? And I'm 100% on board. I think this first one we're going to get a lot of traction from my sphere and my group of followers. Um but I don't want to just be one and done.
Right.
Right. I don't want to be the realtor I just talked about with their clients transactional, right? And you and I have been having a great relationship since we started. We met at a coffee shop, and you gave
Hmm.
me this amazing book, which I put it to great use. And then from there on, it's like maybe we do a 1 month or every other week or whatever it is. We try it out. Um, but I really do know we're gonna see some good traction on this because in this industry, it's truly about exposure, right? You
Hmm.
can't be a secret agent,
Right.
right? You
Right.
have to get out there and people have to know you have your license and hey, come to me with questions, concern, whatever you have. I'm here for you, right?
Well.
And how are people going to know that with one of the biggest tool we have right now, social media,
Right.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is.
The marketing we can do all of our own marketing. It's got to be consistency, right?
100%.
And you
Yep.
can if you can grow. I just had another agent on not too long ago, and I looked at her Instagram followers. It was like 85,000 followers,
Wow.
right?
Jeez.
And but she's consistent.
Yeah.
Does it,
Yep.
religiously, night and day. Um, and she found like, some of the funniest things, or some things are just like just put it out there.
Yeah.
She's spent a couple hours doing editing and doing this and gets 20 views, or you do something that's just off the wall and you get a couple thousand, right?
Right. Yep.
So
That's how it works.
it does, and you want stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys heard it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trib is making a commitment
100%.
to doing this more often. So we will definitely have that on the schedule. We'll have, we'll put together a, list of these are the topics we're going to talk about.
Sure.
And then that way we have real content for people to digest,
Yeah.
right, in this market,
Yeah.
which is always a big thing, always a good thing. So, when we first met, we talked about, like you were in the Army for 8 years.
Yep.
So you had a very structured
100%.
path, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And you learn from that and you use that in everyday life, right?
That's the best thing about life is one situation you can learn so many things that you can apply into your life, whether it's business or personal. And it's funny that this is not me outside of business, right? This is me, real life, personal business. This is how I am. The personality, the whatever you want to call behind it. This is me. So it's really not a face I put on and
Right.
come here and
Right.
what goes back with it is just being vulnerable, right? Is
Right.
just putting yourself out there, regardless of what I do. If I'm the best at it, there's somebody else that's gonna say something. Oh, you can have $100 left in your pocket and you gave somebody 99 and you kept $1 in your name. Somebody's gonna say, oh, look at that one. He only gave 99.
Right.
Right? Why didn't he give
Why
100?
didn't you give it all?
No, that's the last dollar that you have. So regardless in life, it's people are gonna say stuff, no matter how big or small it is, right? So I guess to those people that want to say something negative, it costs about $2,000 to pay one of my bills. So whether if you want to say something,
Right.
sell me $2,000, and then I'll consider what you're saying.
100%. What from your sphere, and your people that you have, what messages outside of what we just talked about, right? Is
Mhm.
there any additional messaging that you have, from, the home purchasing point? Is there any programs you want to talk about? I mean, we got plenty of them out there, right?
Sure.
Minnesota, we have like all the down payment assistance programs. Do you have anything that you want to add, like, to that
I
at
guess
all?
what I would add to that is
Or ask me.
yeah, and that's I guess the programs that are available, that's where you come in, right? I'm not that up to date with all these programs because going back, I'm focused on building this relationship with the clients, right? So that's where our partnership comes in. So I guess the program that I would add to somebody to add to someone that's considering buying a house or whenever they're trying to time it, that's right. I would say one thing to add is yourself. That's your program, right? Is your mind, right? Regardless of what's out here, the first time buyers, all these grants, or it's there, people can get it if they want it, right?
Right.
But to really take that initiative, yourself to say, hey, I want to buy my first house, or when can I buy that first house, right? It's not that I can't afford it. How can I afford it? Right? Robert Kiyosaki. So it goes back, it's all the tools, all the education, all the resources is there. Education is not free. It takes your attention.
100%.
And that costs a lot.
It does. I mean, it's time, energy.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been super challenged with lately, um, is, I'm out of my comfort zone right now because I'm dealing with, building a tech company
Yeah.
and doing things that, and I'm wearing all these different hats, but I'm, talking with my team in India at like 6:30 in the morning. 'Cause that's in there at late day.
Right.
But going through like user stories, on because I have my vision, and
Sure.
then I have, like this is what we need to do, and then we have to turn them into actual user stories, right?
Right.
It's not a strong suit of mine. I didn't go to school for development and
Yeah.
like all of this stuff, but now we've hit a cadence. It took a minute, but it
Right.
took a lot of time. It took a lot of stress, took a lot, I mean, energy and like trying to figure this stuff out.
We don't see the behind the scenes, right?
Right. Right. And it's, you're like, oh, I see this to actually get this idea and to have it pop up on a screen or do this or do that, specifically in AI world.
Right.
There's a lot that goes
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah.
So out of the comfort zone is for sure, right? But it's learning.
Yeah.
And I love it. And now it's getting fun. Now it's not as stressful anymore and now it's fun. And now it looks like, where we're going is like awesome.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing it. So the same thing goes back to what you said, the time and energy to learn,
100%.
education.
Yeah.
You know, I
Talk a little
was.
bit about you mentioned that you created this technology. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about that because that's a huge game changer.
Yeah. So what we've created is in the mortgage industry. It's been very antiquated for years,
Yep.
right? And partially because of compliance issues and like just people are slow to change. And then you have banking and you got all of this
Right.
compliance, right? As tech companies come around, excuse me, as the tech companies are building, you have all these different tools to do this or do that, from CRMs,
Yep.
some most common, right,
Yep.
to small off tools that are like just for the pre-approval process, like I sent you, and you already
Yep.
printed a pre-approval letter
Quick.
for right away, right? Different tools like that, but they all are a cost. Now,
Right.
sometimes the companies absorb those costs, take those because it sees the production on it, and then other times they're like, well, we don't see the benefit in relation to ROI, but these other things make a loan officer way more efficient, right? So the loan officer can pay for them.
Hmm.
So I was looking at tech stacks and decided that because of the tech stacks that are out there, that why not build a tech stack all in one? So you're logging into one thing, because a lot of these different things that either the company's paid for or whatever it is, you only use very small percentage of them.
Right.
So basically, from the mortgage side, I wanted to put everything together. And as I started doing that, then I was like, well, what if we do it this way? Now we started using artificial intelligence. What if we can shortcut the process? So, like, the typical process, and this way it's been for years, is you make an application online, right?
Right.
That application comes in, the system fires off like you owe us W 2s, pay stubs, this and that and the other, right? So you
Right.
upload all those. Loan officer will now go in, pull everything through, set up the file, take a couple hours looking at everything. Then, okay, we're missing this, this, and this. Send it back out to the client.
Sure.
Client's at work. I got this going on. The kids are at dance tonight, or this, whatever it is, right?
Hmm.
You don't get those for another couple days. So the process goes on and on.
Right.
So, what I wanted to do is I built a video chat so I can talk to a client over video and I can pre-qualify them right there. And what we're going to do is we're moving it into an actual application from pre-qual from right there. So all we have to do is now collect the rest of this information, pull encrypted documentation in from like W-2s and pay
Sure.
stubs, because everything's online now.
Right.
Like you log into
Yep.
your W-2, your ADP, or paychecks or whatever payroll
Yep.
system. You can upload all those documents, or we can manually get them, and it reads all of it, and then at the same time it starts requesting that homework right off the bat.
Wow.
So my goal is to make the first time you ever talk to a client and get their application, that first hour, have them fully approved for underwriting in like an hour,
Yeah.
and have it assisted instead of all this back and forth and this other additional time, so that you can really establish that. And a video chat, like we talked about earlier,
Yep.
is you're out there showing people the house, whatnot. Many times I have Zoom meetings or Teams calls with clients,
Hmm.
but it's usually after once I have them pre-approved, then I go through the loan.
Sure.
It's not at the very beginning.
Right.
So we created it to be at the beginning, to build that relationship right away. Because I'm very much into the communication,
Hmm.
full communication with clients, the agents, all parties involved. So that experience is
Yeah.
superior. So
You've been spot on with every client that we worked on. It's been, I send an email or a text, I get that within that hour. So the pre-approval that you mentioned, you'll get it within an hour. You've cut that in half.
that's the idea, man. It's
Yeah.
it's it's to move it faster. I almost called the company Polar for
Okay.
path of least resistance.
Okay. I like it.
PL, like I can't remember what I had, but I mean, because I'm the path of least resistance guy. Like I don't like getting bogged down in all this stuff, and
Yeah.
now I have people that do a lot of
Right.
that
Yep.
work for me,
Yep.
so I can take the time to do a podcast,
Right. Yep.
and I'm not buried in paperwork because I have
Right.
other people doing it. Now I have systems that are built to do it. So
Yeah, and it's
we're
once you have your system implemented, right? It's just streamlined from
Mhm,
there.
mhm.
It's awesome.
So you never want to take away from the customer experience. That's my number one thing.
Mhm.
So that's why I wanted to make it forward facing, right? So some of these other tech companies are trying to just eliminate a lot of
Right.
that piece, right? Now that's great for the guy that's owned 3 or 4 homes already, well established, tons of money in the bank,
Right.
excellent credit, understands the house buying process, the home buying process, or whatever it is, understands that process through and through. That's like less than 15% of people,
Right.
right?
Yep.
The rest of the people haven't done it in a long time.
Hmm.
B, they get scared of it. They have questions. Is this the right way to do it?
Right.
Right. And you can build those systems to make all that fire off. And it's kind of funny when I've dealt with like venture capitalists, these guys have lots of money.
Right.
They know the home buying process is terrible, right?
Sure.
But they also are very key, they know what things that they can do, and that's not most people,
Right.
right? So they only look at it from this top view. And when I
Mm.
finally was able to tell them the stories of like, here's the bottom side, here's the first time home buyers, here's the people that have some challenging credit,
Right.
challenging incomes, some different things, like how are they going to buy, right? Who gets them the best service? Rocket doesn't give it to them,
Mhm.
that's for sure. All these other techs, they don't do that, right? So you have to have somebody that's smart, or somebody with assistance that
Right.
can help them through that process. And that's really what I focused on building. And now it's like game on. We're weeks, maybe months away, but weeks away from actual launch of the MVP. So
That's exciting.
yes,
Wow.
been a long
That's gonna
time
be a game
coming.
changer. Yeah.
So,
But this is, you're doing all this, and because if we take care of our clients will take care of us, right?
correct.
So long
Right.
story short, that's phenomenal.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Like, um, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show,
I
Trib,
appreciate it.
and we're gonna obviously be doing this again in the future,
Absolutely.
very soon.
Yep.
Everybody like and subscribe. I'll have Trib's information below, so if you want to reach out to him directly, go right ahead. But I'm looking forward to the future here with you and watching your career grow.
Likewise, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.